But before I end this shit, I gotta give this motherfucker a message. Ortiz, come here, bro. Come here. Nigga, this time around, don't forget to add any type of shit that you taking to the motherfucking forums, bruh. Because you ain't gonna get a third time. You lucky you got this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Disclose all the info. What's good? It's your boy 2K here. This is going to be the final update, man, and it's going to be a good one. Deontay Wilder is going to give Luis Ortiz a second opportunity at the WBC title. Now, this is why I can't roll with motherfuckers saying that Deontay Wilder is not looking for the best fighters, right? Now, at one point, understand, and y'all can go back and watch old videos where I criticized Deontay Wilder for having title defenses against motherfuckers like Johan Duhapis, Eric Molina, Artur Spilka. You know what I'm saying? I criticized him for having title defenses against those fighters, right? And I said he has to step it up. But over the last year, I would say, and maybe at least just this year, he's been showing that he wants to make the best fights possible. You know what I'm saying? When he announced that he was going to fight Luis Ortiz instead of Bermane Stiverne, and actually gave Bermane Stiverne step-aside money, right, in order to get this Luis Ortiz matchup, that right there for me was a turning point. But even before that, he was going after Joseph Parker, and he had mentioned Anthony Joshua, right? Since Luis Ortiz failed to mention that this motherfucker has to take blood pressure medication, he's been going after Anthony Joshua, right? He hasn't been talking about anybody else. Of course, he fought Bermane Stiverne, you know what I'm saying, and made that motherfucker do the limbo in the ring. You know what I'm saying? But that was his mandatory. You can only pay him step-aside money. Then after that, the WBC said, yo, the guy that you paid our mandatory step-aside money for, he failed the drug test, so we're not going to sanction that fight anymore. Now you got to fight this dude. Now, of course, I made a video on this where I said I felt Deontay Wilder and his team, Lou DiBella and Al Heyman, could have done something to persuade the WBC to let the fight go on, because it was just blood pressure medication. It was no PEDs or no SARM or any other performance enhancement drug, right? Now, people say that blood pressure medication could be a masking agent. And that's true. It probably was used as a masking agent. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. We don't know. The only thing we can go off of is it was blood pressure medication and they didn't catch anything else. Nothing else illegal, right? The only reason why they didn't sanction it is because he didn't list it on the forums, okay? So I feel like his team could have done something to persuade the WBC into having that fight any fucking way, but they didn't. They said, yo, hey, you gave us the mandatory then, man. We already paid the nigga step-aside money just to give Luis Ortiz his opportunity, so I guess we'll beat your mandatory, who should have never been the mandatory anyway, because he ain't do shit since losing to fucking Deontay Wilder. Only had one fight against a journeyman by the name of Derek Ross, and he looked like shit in that fight, right? And we saw why he shouldn't have been the mandatory. He came in flabby as fuck. The nigga looked like he just ate about 16 hot dogs before he walked into the ring. Then he got into the ring, and this nigga over here doing motherfucking quadricep stretches and shit, getting knocked out. You know what I'm saying? My nigga was on his motherfucking knees, stretched out, stretching his motherfucking quadriceps. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. If you needed to stretch, should have did that shit before you got in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So we saw why he should have never been the mandatory. So I gotta commend Deontay Wilder for going back to Luis Ortiz, a fight, in my opinion, fellas, that I think he will lose. I don't think he can beat Luis Ortiz. And many other people don't think he can beat Luis Ortiz, right? Now, a lot of people seem to think that Al Heyman, Lou DiBella and all them are paying off fighters. This is what a lot of people seem to think, because it's such a coincidence that every time Deontay Wilder has a step up, motherfuckers just end up failing drug tests. Now, it is what it is, man. I'ma let y'all motherfuckers have that, right? But this is the thing. I don't think you can pay off a guy like Luis Ortiz. You see what I'm saying? Luis Ortiz is determined, right? He's 38 years old, and that has an asterisk next to it. You know what I'm saying? You know you got to add 5 years to all Cubans. The motherfucker should be 43 years old right now. You know what I'm saying? So he's determined, and he's been the WBA mandatory before they actually moved him out of the rankings. He was a WBA mandatory for like 17 years and shit, right? Motherfuckers not wanting to fight him. You know what I'm saying? The WBA over there giving title shots to fucking Frez Okendo. You know what I'm saying? Giving title shots to him over fucking Luis Ortiz for their regular title. You know what I'm saying? Trying to give it to Lucas Brown again and trying to get fucking Shannon Briggs in there, man. I mean, they were looking at every other guy but their fucking mandatory for that regular title, right? Then they say, yo, the winner of Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko for the WBA super title will have to face Luis Ortiz. Well, when Anthony Joshua won that shit, WBA didn't say nothing. They didn't mandate it. They just let the shit sit there. They said, well, you know, we said it, but I mean, it's your opportunity. If you want to take it, you can take it. I mean, we're not going to mandate the shit. Man, get the fuck out of here, bruh. Why you even going to mention the shit? Okay? But then when it's time to have the fight mandated, you don't want to go off of your rules no more. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. These motherfucking organizations are corrupt, man. It's all about money underneath the table. They're supposed to be non-profit organizations, but you already know what's really good, man. Y'all know what's really good. So, I got to commend Deontay Wilder, man. He's giving a guy a shot that he doesn't have to. I think, if I'm not mistaken, garbage-ass, fat-ass Dominic Brazil is his mandatory when he beat Eric Molina, I believe, for the WBC silver title, I believe. He became his mandatory. And also, what's his name out in the UK? Dillian White, who everybody seems to think that Deontay Wilder is afraid of for some dumbass reason. Dillian White is nobody to be afraid of, man. I can go find niggas that will say they're not scared of Dillian White. You know what I'm saying? Dude is not an intimidating figure whatsoever. He actually look kind of fucking goofy, man. Especially with that eraser top haircut that nigga got. But anyway, you know, they say he's scared of him. But I think he's the mandatory as well, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? He beat Robert Helenius to get that opportunity. And at one point in time, there was talks of having Dominic Brazil fight Dillian White for that mandatory spot. So I don't know how all that shit's gonna pan out. All I know is this particular fight is supposed to take place between Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder on March 3rd at the Barclays Center. So, man, everything's not ironed out completely, but we're almost there. We're about 90% there. So if we can get there, you know what I'm saying? If we can get there, we got a good fight on the horizon. And like I said, man, in this fight, I got Luis Ortiz, man. But before I end this shit, I gotta give this motherfucker a message. Ortiz, come here, bro. Come here. Nigga, this time around, don't forget to add any type of shit that you taking to the motherfucking forums, bruh. Because you ain't gonna get a third time. You lucky you got this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Disclose all the info. Do what you do in the comment section, but let me know what you think and be real. This is real talk for real fans. 1.